In this video, we're going to look at how you can debug Ember concurrency tasks. And to show this to you, I want to show you this problem I ran into last week. I've got this blog post page, and one of the options here is that you can delete blog posts. So if I hover over this post and delete it, I get this confirmation message. And when I click delete post, you'll see the post gets removed from the row. This toast pops up over here, and then the bar charts update. Let me do that again just to show you. So I got this feature request last week that when you click delete, there's a lot that's going on. The post gets removed, the bar charts update, that toast pops up. And the ask here was to delay that toast from popping up. So once they click delete, they would see it get removed, but that toast would take, an additional second to show. So that's what we're going to build now. If I come down here and I delete this post, this thing won't pop up immediately. It'll take, half a second to show. So if we come over to the code, this is the post index template. This is the table that gets displayed that shows all the posts. And this is each post row. And you can see that when we click on that delete link, we call this show delete action. So let's follow this show delete action. If we come down to the actions hash, we can see show delete here. And what this is doing is this is setting a property on the controller called post to delete. And this post to delete gets reused in the template down at the bottom of the template. If we have a post to delete, we show this confirm delete post component. And that's the thing that renders a modal. Let's open up that confirm delete component. And right here we see the code that deletes the post. And we can see that we get the post and then we destroy the post. And finally, we show that flash message that the post was successfully deleted. So what we want to do is we want to add a delay before we show this message. So let's use Ember Concurrency's timeout helper, and we'll add a delay of 1 second. And we need to go ahead and import this. So we'll come up to the top of the file and import timeout. If we save it and hop back to the browser, let's try it out. So we'll delete this post. Now, we see the post was deleted, but we don't see that flash message. And that's kind of strange. We should see that after 1 second. Let's try it again. Still nothing. Let's open a console. We don't see any error messages here, and we can see our posts being deleted. We can see them being removed from the table. That one worked. But no flash message down here. And the only thing we changed here is the Ember concurrency task. And so whenever I have an Ember concurrency task that's not behaving how I expect it to, there's a little trick I can use. If we go back to the code, at the very end of this task, we can add a debug modifier. And let's see what this does to our task. We'll delete another blog post. And now we got this debug statement from Ember concurrency. And it says task instance delete post was canceled because the object it lives on was destroyed or unrendered. For more information, see this page. And this opens the Ember concurrency docs, and you can see we're on this testing page. Down here, there's this whole section about debugging and unexpected task cancellation. And as we can see here, adding that debug modifier is going to give us more information about why the task was canceled, which is the problem that's affecting us right now. So it looks like what's happening is that when we delete this, the task is canceled before the toast ever has a chance to show. And if we go to the code, we can see that there's probably something here that's canceling this task before this line is run that shows a flash message. And since we added this yield, we are delaying this code. So we are giving something else in this system the opportunity to cancel this task. And I found that the biggest culprit for tasks getting canceled is that the components they live on getting unrendered, because an Ember concurrency task is tied to the lifecycle of its host object. When you unrender a component, it destroys it, and that's going to cancel any of its running tasks. So there's probably something that's unrendering this component while we're waiting 1 second before showing that message. And we can see before we call this timeout, we're sending out this on delete action. Maybe there's something here that's causing our component to be de-rendered. So let's go back to the index template And let's look at what we're passing in for on delete. And we can see right here that once a post gets deleted, we mutate this post to delete variable to null. And the reason for that is we display the modal whenever there's a post to delete. So once we delete the post, we set post to delete to null. That's going to de-render the modal. So the idea is once you delete the post, the modal goes away. However, by setting post to delete to null, we make the modal go away, and that task lives on the modal. So that task goes away as well, and the task gets canceled before the flash message ever gets shown. So usually the way I fix these things is I need this flash message and this delay to live longer than the lifecycle of the modal. This is an indicator that I should move this code out of the modal and into the controller. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this code and go back to the controller. And I'm going to add a new action called after delete. And I'm going to paste that code. Now we were using the yield timeout of a second to delay it. But because this is an action and not a task, we need to delay it some other way. We'll use later from Ember run. And this takes a function. And the function will be this flash message. And then it also takes a delay. So this is similar to set timeout. And we'll delay for a second. And we also could have kept this as a task, but today we're just making this an action. There's one more thing we need to do. We need to import later. So we'll do im later. Let's go back to our action. And the last thing we need to do is we need to have our template invoke this action when a delete finishes. So we'll call after delete. And you'll notice that this original action was setting post to delete to null to tear down that modal. So we also need to make sure that our controller's action does the same thing, or else this modal will stay rendered. We'll come back to the controller and do this .set post to delete, and we'll set that to null. Okay, let's see what this looks like. Delete the post. And there we go. We now see the pop-up, the toast message a second later. All right, let's scroll down and do that again. All right, great. And you can see here, there's no more Ember Concurrency message about our task being unrendered. And then as one final cleanup item, I will go back to our task and I'll remove this debug modifier. And then also we're no longer using timeout, so I no longer need to import it over here. And let's make sure that the delete modal is still working. Perfect. So hopefully this video was helpful. If you ever run into a situation where your tasks stop doing what they're coded to do, the debug modifier is a great way to find out if you have a task that's being unrendered and that's causing a cancellation.